Now, within the first few days of Xaku making their way into Warframe, we were told, expect a rework, right? Expect some hefty changes to help make this broken Warframe more enjoyable. The community just honestly didn't dig the frame for a lot of reasons. Some of you are already saying it. Just say it, John. Tell the truth, go on. It won't hurt. Xaku kinda sucked, okay? Xaku needed a very, and I mean a very specific build to make them good. And that build would solely revolve around this one ability, the third rotating ability called Gaze. The ability to completely strip enemies of all defenses. But again, like I said, it was a very specific setup that required, I guess, arcanes to some degree, a certain power strength, a lot of range, a decent amount of duration. Basically, it left you with no wiggle room whatsoever. That's all you could play as. Next week, Xaku is going to see a lot of very welcome changes and buffs, with the first wave of fixes rolling out. But I do think more is definitely needed. So these are those changes. So Xaku's passive will now also give damage reduction from area of effects. Before, things like rockets had a chance to pass through you, but those follow-up explosions could kill you. With the new changes proposed coming in next week, these explosions will deal 25% less damage or 75% less damage if you're in your skimpy skeleton mode, his ultimate. Personally, I would prefer if it was just damage reduction all around for his passive, not just for the area of effects. Remove the avoidance, it's kind of wonky in this game, just give it damage reduction like other Warframes have. Now, your first ability, Xaku's Whisper, will give your weapons a boost in void damage, but void damage in reality in Warframe totally sucks. So to rectify this, they are going to make void damage a neutral damage type. They've removed the 50% resistance that certain enemies have to void damage. Enemies like fossilized and cloned enemies, so infested and Grineer units, will now take more damage from void sources. However, they did note that this won't change how void damage interacts with Eidolons, so forget about boosting your hunting damage. We will see how this plays out, but right now, or even after these changes, I think I would still prefer to switch Xaku's Whisper out for Rhino's Roar, because it just feels like it's more effective. Now, Xaku's Grasp of Loke ability, the one where you can steal enemy weapons and have the spectral weapons hovering beside you, will soon steal weapons faster and have a faster casting animation tied to it as well. It will also be a recastable ability. You won't have to wait for the duration to end, just in case you meet a bigger group of enemies and decide that you want to steal more guns, more than you currently have, then you're going to be able to do that. There is no talk about increasing the range on this ability, which I kind of feel is a bad thing. I really think it needs range. Right now it really lacks in it. You have to be standing almost on top of enemies to cast this and steal a decent amount of guns. But again, they said this is wave 1 and hopefully wave 2 will fix the range issue. Now, Xaku's third ability, the rotating one that has the 3 different abilities, out of those 3 abilities, Deny is seeing some changes. Deny is the laser beam. It will have a faster casting speed to it, but also Deny will have a damage multiplier based on the amount of weapons that you currently have stolen, or the spectral weapons that are hovering around you. So the more of those you have, the higher the damage multiplier of Deny. Now, the best ability out of these 3, like I said, is Gaze. It's being left alone based apparently on forum posts by players with 6 Forma setups who have said it's fine, which kind of seems wrong that you're basing it on just forum posts by a few people who have pumped 6 Forma into something. If you have to pump 6 Forma into something to make it hit a sweet spot, then does that not mean it needs looking at because it's too expensive in the first place? Maybe it shouldn't take 6 Forma to make it good. The range on Gaze also absolutely blows. 8 meter radius with 14 second duration, not to mention it's a high energy cost as well, but we'll see, I guess, how wave 2 of fixes go. I feel like, again, range could be increased, duration could even be increased on this, but apparently 6 Forma builds are the sweet spot. Now, Xaku's ultimate, the Vast Untime, is having its energy drain removed. Thank feck for that. It will be duration based only, so some of the energy issues that Xaku has will be eased. Now, they're also changing how your Vast Untimed mode kind of interacts with other abilities, so when you're in your skimpy skeleton mode, the duration on your other abilities will pause, and when the Vast Untime ends, the duration on those abilities that were previously paused will continue to count down as they normally do, which sounds very interesting. If it pauses the duration only, but the abilities continue to function as they do, like armor removal on Gaze, and having the damage of Grasp of Loke or Zata's Whisper, then that will be pretty neat. It'll be kind of very, very interesting to see how it turns out. Apparently this is only going to work with Xaku's abilities, so I would assume that if you subsume abilities onto Xaku, then they won't be affected by abilities being paused once you're in your Skimpy Skeleton mode. Again, we'll see what way this wave, I guess, of fixes goes down for Xaku, whether the community likes it or not. They do plan, apparently, on having a wave 2 of fixes, so we'll see what turns out with those as well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below of these changes or what you would like to see added. And as always, thanks very much for watching.